Okay. Now I'm at this teen crisis center. One of the boys that is there is, he's 17. I am 15. No, I take that back. I'm 16. He's 17. I turned 16 while I was at the girls' home. Now, this guy was just so cute, and he was just so nice and so sweet, and, you know, he was just this was my first crush. This is the first guy that I ever really liked. And, you know, I just liked him so much. And he was just like, oh, everything was so wonderful about him. Well, we used to go for walks at night to, like, burn energy. And that's one of the things we did at night. There was a big field behind this crisis unit. Now, this isn't like a hospital or anything. This is like an emergency shelter for runaway teens, or for teens, you know, that are in bad situations. So it's not like a lockdown facility or anything like that. We can go outside whenever we want to, and so on and so forth. So every night we would go for a walk with one of the staff members that worked there, and we would go, and the guys would play football. There was some lights out there, and the guys would play football. And, you know, the girls would just sit around gossiping or whatever, you know, doing what kids do. Well, one night, the guy asked me to take a walk with him. And there was a path that went through the woods. And we were not allowed to go. I mean, you could go with girls, or the guys could go with guys, but you weren't allowed to go girls and guys. Well, there was only one staff member, and this one particular staff member really didn't pay a whole lot of attention to us. So we kind of snuck off down this path, and we were kissing. And the next thing that I know, he just pushed me up against this tree, and, you know, he was like, I want to fuck you, I'm gonna fuck you, and, you know, and he's like, suck my dick, and I'm like, like, just terrified, and I'm like, no, what are you doing? You know, you're ruining everything, and, you know, and he's like, you ain't nothing but a slut, and, you know, you're a little tease, and this, that, and the other. And he's like, you got my dick hard, now you're going to do something about it. And he started squeezing my throat, and I could barely freaking breathe, and it just happened. That was the next time I had been raped. I mean, it was over so fast. I barely even remember it. I just remember him holding me by my throat, pinned up against a tree, and I had on shorts, and he just ripped the shorts off. He busted the button in the zipper, and he did his business, and that was it. And I was crying, and I was upset. Everybody went back to the unit, and one of the staff members was like, we're missing somebody, where are they at? And I just stayed there, the exact same place. I just laid down on the ground and just started crying. And at this point in time, I was really upset with God. I was really frustrated and pissed off. And I was just like, how does this keep on happening to me? What is it that I'm doing that just allows this to keep on happening to me? So the staff member finally ended up finding me and asked me what happened. And I told her what happened. This time, I was tired of not telling. So this time I told her what happened. And they had little walkie-talkies, and she was talking to one of the other staff members there, and I told him that I wasn't going to go back there. I refused to go back there if he was there. So we sat out there for a while, and then a little beep came through or something, and she was like, all right, let's go back. And I was like, is he there? And she was like, no, he's not there. But a police officer wants to talk to you if you want to press charges. Now's the time to do so. So we need to go back up to the unit so that you can talk to the officer. Whenever we get back up to the unit, me and the officer are sitting in one of these little office rooms, and the staff member that I told is there with me. It was a female. And we're all sitting there, and the officer's asking me exactly what happened, and I just clammed up. I couldn't say anything. All I could do was pretty much shake my head. And he was trying to tell me that he couldn't do anything with me just shaking my head, that I had to fill out a report, and that if I wasn't able to fill out a report, I had to at least verbally tell what had happened so that he could fill out the report, she could witness it, and I would sign it. And he couldn't do that. I don't know why, but I couldn't do it. Well, he ends up getting arrested or going to juvenile. I don't even know whatever ended up happening with him, or, you know, if charges were ever filed or whatever exactly went on with that. But at this point in time, I was just, it was like, that was like the last straw. I was just so depressed, so upset all the time. I tried to take my life for the first time. I got a hold of a bottle of 500 Tylenol, and I took all 500 Tylenol. I don't really remember a whole lot, but I remember coming to in a adult crisis unit in a hospital, hospitalization, mental health hospitalization. And I stayed there for quite some time. I stayed there for almost 3 months, and they did all kinds of tests on me, and you know, I was always in some kind of therapy, always doing something, and I actually did really well while I was in this hospital. And the people that adopted me had signed over their parental rights. They had turned me back over to foster care. So I was now a ward of the state again, and I was to be placed in foster care. Well, they decided to place me at a place in Tallahassee called Boys Town, USA. I was so angry at this point in time in my life that it didn't matter where you placed me at, I was not going to be happy. While I was there, I wasn't there for very long, I attempted suicide again. This is the second time within a year. And I found the house parents had some like Tylenol PM or Advil PM or something like that. And I took the whole bottle. It was like 100 pills. I took the whole bottle. I remember like coming to in the ambulance, and you know, just it wasn't good. So at this point in time, they put me back at the youth crisis center where I was at before, because I'm still in Tallahassee. So they placed me back there because I seemed to do well there. Other than the rape incident that had happened, you know, I was doing really well there. So they placed me back there until they could find me a foster home, and I got assigned a new caseworker. My new caseworker actually did a lot of work for me. He really felt sorry for me, and I wasn't 100% honest with him, but I let him know a lot of the things that had gone on. And he really was trying his best to place me in a foster home that I would be happy in and that I would be able to move forward in. So he did that. He found me a foster home in St. Augustine, Florida. And it was an older lady, and she took in older teenage girls. And I was going to be the last girl that she took in because she was going to start taking in pregnant teenagers and teenagers with babies that were in the foster care system. And they asked me, you know, if I was going to be okay with that, you know, living with moody pregnant teenagers and babies, because, you know, this was not the last resort, but this was a good resort that they found, that he had found for me. So I went to go live there with her, and life was pretty good. Life was really good there. I grew a lot while I was there. So I met one of the people that I'm still in touch with now, Corey. I love her to death. We've been through hell and high waters. I met her there. She got placed there with her 3-month-old son, Devin. My son was actually named after him. He got taken away from her when he was like 2 years old, and she hasn't seen him since he was 2, and I think he is 14 or 15 now. She's working on seeing him now, but things were pretty good there. And I'm going to have one more video to kind of sum everything up and move forward with my childhood. At least, you know, what childhood I did have. So, keep looking. Just a couple more videos.